Oh, hey there, everybody. It's me, Greg Miller from the GameOverGreggy Show, here to talk to you about movement watches. That's right. You're looking at a movement watch. Kevin tried to see my secret paper, but I won't let him see it. Hey, there's the thing. I'm here to tell you about our sponsor, Movement Watches. Movement Watches, which is MVMT Watches, was founded on the belief that style shouldn't break the bank. The watchmaker's goal is to change the way consumers think about fashion by offering high-quality, minimalist products at revolutionary prices. We get it, ladies and gentlemen. Holiday shopping can be tough, but thanks to Movement Watches, all that gift-giving anxiety can disappear with the press of the button. These watches make a perfect purchase for anyone in your life, guy or girl. And remember, they start at $95. Seriously, they sent a whole bunch of these watches to us. Go, Kev. Kevin, this is... They sent us a bunch of these watches. This is my black one with the black face and the red things, and I like it quite a bit. I was going to wear it to a wedding, but I forgot it here at the office. Don't do that when you go to weddings. Otherwise, you don't have a movement watch. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, right now, you can get 15% off with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/kinda. This watch has a really clean design. Seriously, I get compliments from you guys in the comments all the time, except when you're like, why are there so many ads? Now is the time to step up your watch game. Go to mvmtwatches.com/kinda.
Funny.
Ha!
Because I'll get real. This year was really scary for me. In April, about back up February, kind of started getting a little sick, and so in April I got to present at the BAFTAs, which was really cool. But I barely made it there because the second our plane touched down, I was horribly sick, and our car was literally downstairs to pick us up and take us to the show. And I looked at my wife. I was like, I don't know if I can go. And I got myself in the car. It was about a 30-minute car trip. I was dying the entire time. I sat down in my seat, and they were like, "We need you." And they literally brought me backstage. I presented the award, and I got out and I left. And we had already booked this trip for my 40th birthday. We were going to go to the south of France. Stupid. It was cool. So we go from London, we go to Paris, and I'm just sick. I can't keep food down. I feel like I'm dying. And we get to the south of France. We're in this beautiful hotel overlooking just gorgeous things. And I'm in this, I'm in like the shower basically. And it's at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my wife that I have cancer. And the next morning, we wake up and she's having breakfast. I'm just not eating or anything. She's okay. It's like, something's wrong. Something's really, really wrong. So we get the name of a nutritionist that was recommended to us, and that's why I bring this up. And I was like, I need to talk to you. And he was like, cool, we'll set up an appointment when you get back. I was like, I need to talk to you now. So this guy FaceTimes me, and I'm sitting there, and he's not really paying attention to me. He's like, okay, why don't you just kind of walk me through your symptoms, let me know what's going on. And I'm like looking at him going, I need you to be with me on this. I said, well, I'm having these problems and this symptoms and this symptoms. He's like, okay. And I said, I've had some weight loss. And he's like, how much? I said, about 20 pounds. And he stops and he looks and he goes, walk me through that. And I'm like, fuck, here we go. All right, this is where the bad news starts. And he goes, why don't you just tell me this? What did you have? What did you have to eat today? And I said, I had some prosciutto. He goes, okay, what else? I said, just prosciutto. He goes, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner? I said, no, I've just had a little bit of prosciutto. And he goes, oh my God. Dude, of course you're going to be losing weight. You're on the same diet as like a Hollywood starlet trying to play a heroin addict. Of course you're going to be losing weight. God, you were scaring me for a second. And he looked at me and he said, I'm going to heal you. And for someone in the medical field to say something like that without there being like this, I'm a Southern Baptist preacher, tent revivalist thing, but it's like, dude, for someone to look at me with the level of conviction and passion and be able to go, I can't wait to roll my sleeves up. Don't worry. He's like, I know the place that you're in right now, and you don't deserve to be there. And I really needed to hear those words. You don't deserve to be as depressed as you are, because there are people that legitimately have something Save that for them. You just don't feel good. And he did that. As soon as we came back, he had a nurse come to my house at like 8 o'clock in the morning, do a full battery of tests. And I found out that I had like SIBO. I had like a bacteria thing. That's it. And I got him some completely natural things, cleansed my body out, and I'm rocking and rolling. It's been a long fight back. But none of that was covered by insurance. It was horribly expensive. If I wasn't in the same situation in life that I'm in right now, I would still be in the same place that I was there. That's wrong. That's wrong. And that's the kind of attention that every doctor, and I've been to my doctor, I've got a great doctor, but he looks at me and goes, I don't know, just antibiotic. Pain medication or antibiotic. It's the only two things that a doctor gives you. And this is a nutritionist, which a lot of people chalk up to chiropractor, nutritionist. Those are two kind of like fringe doctors.
Right.
This guy fucking healed me, dude. He assessed what was going on. He broke it down so much. He was like, let me guess, about 10 o'clock every night, you just get wired. You're amped. I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay. I said, how did you tell? He goes, the spit test that you did. And every day, like, they'll spit into a tube. There you go. He was like, I know exactly what's going on in your life. I know exactly your circadian rhythm is off. He just like ran the gamut. I wanted everybody to do that test, to be able to do that. But it's, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway.
No, that's awesome. Like that's the kind of thing that my wife and I are like, we look into.
Yeah,
because
man.
it's just to be able to do it, even if you're feeling okay, just to see where you're at, where your body chemistry is at, where
exactly.
your like, gut biome's at, things like that, where you're just taking stock of all these things that there's you just don't traditionally talk to a doctor about. And I brought up Greg earlier. I was joking with him. But I always find it hilarious that when you have a pet and your pet's not feeling well and you take him into the vet, the first thing they ask you is what did he eat? What's in his diet? What is he putting into his body, right?
Yeah.
They don't ask the pet about anything in its
what's your history?
Yeah, exactly. Because they can't, right?
Right.
And so that medicine has sort of evolved to be like, well, it has to be biological. We have to figure out like what's happening chemistry wise in this animal to make him act like this, right? Because you can't really talk to him and talk about his past. And not to say that there aren't things that happen in people's past that do cause brain issues and things like that. But I always find that fascinating that doctors don't spend any time talking to people about how they eat, and we're just essentially divorced from what we put into our bodies versus our health, right? We think those two are mutually exclusive.
We'll put premium unleaded gas in our cars
Right.
because we want it to run better, but we'll put shit into our bodies.
We don't care about what we put in our bodies, right?
And that's to say that I understand that it's economically difficult to eat healthy in this country. I readily admit that. I've started cooking. You and I were talking about this. I've started cooking more for myself just because I always swing from extremes. I hate going to a restaurant because I'm like, I got sick from you before. I don't want to get sick again if I prepare my own food, and it's become this fun thing. I love cooking. I made this stew the other night. That was epic, bro. It was epic. It was a thing of beauty. I've been loving the pictures of seeing like, this is what we made. I was like, shit, dude, that inspires me. I'm like, I'm not going to have that man outdo me.
I'll tell you what, Rachel Ray. And yes, I can.
Rachel Ray?
Rachel Ray Magazine. Get on that. That's where you get these recipes come from. Colin, how good were the chicken breasts last night?
You made some great chicken.
Yeah,
All right.
Spanish chicken and chorizo.
Because
Your
shit
looks good.
Because
yeah,
I can really relate to what you're saying in a sense, because I've had stomach and colon issues my entire life.
Right.
And to the point where when I was young, I went to Boston University to their medical center as a kid because they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with this person?" And that was when we had barium enemas and all that. They don't do that kind of shit anymore, as we've talked about in the show in the past. But I know what it was like to be like when they would be like, "Oh, you have this or this," and I'm like, "But what you're saying doesn't make sense." And it was the celiac thing when they were like, "You have celiac disease," which I thought for 2 years I had celiac disease.
There's a moment when everyone had celiac disease. Remember
Exactly.
That?
And
was like, yeah.
I thought I did too.
Yeah, and I'm like, but what you're, and they're like, well, I'm like, so this is something you're born with and it's genetic, and they're like, yes, and I'm like, but what you're saying doesn't make sense. I grew up in an Italian house.
Yeah.
All
Never
we
had
ate
these
was
problems
pasta and garlic bread and pizza, and I had no issues with any. Like it's not related to food. And they're like, but you have it. And I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. I remember getting into a fight with the doctor, like, and like the nutritionist there, and they're like, but you do, and I'm like, but you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. And lo and behold, they do an endoscopy, and they're like, no, we were wrong.
What's
and
great,
it pissed me off.
is people go, I stopped gluten and I feel fantastic. Of course you did. You stopped eating processed foods.
Yeah, and
you
sugar.
started eating sugar. That's one thing my nutritionist said is like, if I could cut you from anything, it was sugar.
Sugar's
And
the
literally,
number one offender.
this is my only source of sugar now. I just don't do sugar, and I don't miss it. It's like a day or two of like, fuck everything. But then the second that you get over it, you're okay. You're totally fine. But I do really highly support eating cleanly, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not telling you have to eat kale constantly.
Kale's good for you though.
I'm just saying
It's good too. It's a deep cut on the album of health column, what everyone said, and I agree.
just eat clean. Just eat clean. Dude, I want to talk and maybe some, because what happened to me was whatever bad shit that I had going on, I took an antibiotic. And it was just a nuclear
just
blast. The
nuked it,
levee
yeah.
broke, and all the good bacteria. And it took
Yeah, that's the
about
problem
a
with this.
year of building up good bacteria. And I'm like,
Yeah,
there
there's
we go again.
I read an article recently. This is the reason why it's on my brain about diet soda, artificial sweeteners, and what those do to your gut. And they
Terrible.
do the same thing that antibiotics do. They nuke all the good bacteria and allow the bad bacteria to kind of grow and gestate, and it'll fuck you up, and that can actually affect cravings. It'll actually like make you crave sweet things more. Yeah, it does. There's all sorts of research coming out on artificial sweeteners that I'm like, it's terrifying to me because I drink a lot of Diet Coke.
I was going to say, it says
A lot
Mr.
of
Diet Coke.
I envision my stomach's kind of like level 19 or level 20 in Dr. Mario. You know, and like you
Okay.
kind of
Don't
gotta
know what
like
that means.
really, you gotta really like kind of get, you know, some good bacteria. But yeah, it's I can really relate to what you're saying because it's like there's these people are medical professionals. They go to school. They're very smart. And I have a lot of respect for the medical profession. You know, my girlfriend's an ER nurse, but above and beyond this, people spend 10, 15, 20 years doing their residencies and all these kinds of things. But there is like common sense shit where like it's a churn. So like, there's no time to sit there and be like,
Exactly.
but you're wrong. Like,
But
and,
yeah,
and
but
I
it's
knew it.
also-
I fucking knew it when they told me that. I'm like, what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
But
it's
they
gotta be
don't
hard
care,
though. Like
you know?
you have a full patient roster, and you have to stay current. That's hard. That's not easy, right? I mean, you're asking a human being to know fucking everything. They just can't possibly know that, right? And a lot of doctors, like I've heard, I don't know, I've never been to medical school, but don't spend a ton of time in medical school on nutrition specifically. Like you don't. I just don't think they spend a ton of time on that. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments.
well, it's
but
ER doctors and public defenders. Those two, they have on average, I think John Oliver did something on this, where they have like on average like 8 minutes max with you. 8 minutes to determine
crazy.
if you're going to live or
Your
die,
life.
and typically both senses. Like if you have, or you're going to spend your life in prison, or you're going to spend your life on a medication. 8 minutes is not enough. You have to invest. But I will honestly say this: if you want to get really, really high, just go be active. Go do something. Just walk outside. Do something active. One of the best things is this stupid Apple Watch, or that's not an Apple Watch. Something that tells you it's time to stand up. If you stand up, someone said if you stay seated for more than an hour, which I'm looking at this, it's been over an hour. It's just as
You wanna
bad as
stand up?
smoking a cigarette.
We can all stand up for a second.
It gets weird and framing strange.
I don't care.
Oh,
Oh, look at these sweat stains. Another reason I don't wear white usually.
Jesus God.
that's not
I
white.
have so many black t-shirts.
It looks like Troy said, sitting hand jobs.
Have fun, internet. Have fun with that.
Anyway, you guys have made a compelling case on feeling why I wouldn't want to lose my feeling.
That leads us to the last one, which is the
taste-
sense of taste.
Taste and smell.
Which, trust me, guys, giving up my sense of taste.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, man, that was good.
you are by far the best dressed guest we've had on ever. I think.
Do you like my Westworld outfit?
I love it. I love it.
Doesn't it look like what Bernard wears?
It looks like a cross between Bernard and Ed Harris's character, the Man in Black, a little bit, because he has like that sort of
The little fluffy thing?
the fluffy thing. What do they call those? Not
Cravat.
Cravat. Thank you. I was gonna say carafe, but that's
So,
where you hold liquid.
do
in.
you believe that Ed Harris
Hold
is...
on, don't. No, Colin hasn't watched any of it.
spoilers.
Colin
Ed
hasn't
Harris
watched
is
it.
a phenomenal actor?
I'm waiting for it to. He is a phenomenal.
He's doing the
I'm
same
stacking.
thing you tried to do with he's waiting for Westworld and he's waiting for Batman to marathon through to not be.
Yeah, I don't like waiting.
It'll be good.
And I
Yes,
agree with
to
you.
answer your
Netflix is
question,
the
I do.
same way with whether it's Stranger Things. Would Stranger Things have been as good if I couldn't have watched it in
No.
like 2 days? No.
Stranger Things would have.
But I
sucked,
actually had
if you
to
didn't watch
stretch
all.
it out intentionally because I didn't want it to quite end. So it is a dichotomy. You know, it is a paradox. Actually,
I'm watching Veep right now.
Oh God, I love
excellent
Veep.
show.
Fantastic
Excellent
show.
show.
Especially now.
I love how you never.
You look at it, you're like, that's
Oh.
so funny that they make fun, and you're like, no, that's our political system.
It's just-
That
this is
literally our
exactly what
political
it
system.
is.
This is like a documentary.
I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. Bagman is like the best. Yeah, he's
Buster.
Buster.
Yeah, he'll always be Buster to me.
And he's Buster in that, too.
Yeah.
And she's Mother.
Yeah. Oh God, she is.
I will say real quick before we move on to the next topic about
I still haven't heard- what's Tim doing?
I was gonna say quick about Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Aging like a fine
Oh
wine.
God.
Just want to throw that out there.
How about, oh my God, Gillian Anderson?
Oh my God. You
watched
watched
The Fall?
God, yes, I watched
What
The
the
Fall.
hell happened to her?
She's better. She's
She was cute. She was cute in X-Files.
Yeah.
She is
She's sexy.
fine, to
She's
use it in
very
a
sexy.
70s term. And
And
I'm talking
great.
about like, not just like aesthetically, like she is just a powerful woman with
sexy.
presence.
Super sexy.
Like intimidating, and I love it. She's incredible, and she's brilliant.
And Jamie Dornan's getting that too. God bless him, because I could
What
not
happened in? I didn't see the movie, but I was like, that's the guy from.
get 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
And also Winnie Cooper. We were just talking about this today.
No.
Danica McKellar.
She's a doctor, right, or something now?
No, she has a
mathematician or something?
Oh,
math
math
formula named after her.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like she does
Doesn't
not
age.
age at all.
I know.
I mean, look at Troy.
I know.
Troy's the same
You don't
way.
age. Oh, I had my 40th birthday. What?
Dude,
Troy looks 10 years younger than I do.
how old are you?
36.
36?
Almost 37.
40 gets cool, dude. 40 is awesome.
I'm excited about 40.
Yeah, 40 is awesome. You'll do 40 really, really well.
You think so?
Now, are you still fucking? Because we were talking earlier that as you get older, you don't fuck.
It's not true,
You
dude.
give it away.
Yeah.
The sensation gives away. Kev,
Thank you, Kevin.
Wait.
you're the youngest in the room.
Do you mean other people or just like?
Oh, you can fuck yourself if you want. But
Yeah.
But see, that's what I was going to say when you said no sense of touch.
Oh, it's
because
masturbation?
who cares about sex? What the fuck am I going to do with myself every
Friedrich
night, morning,
Nietzsche
and
was the
afternoon?
one who said, "Is like forget if you can have sex with a person that you're going to marry. Can you talk to them after 40 years or 20 years, whatever?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you that's one thing you will be doing."
Right.
I completely believe in that. But no, dude, it's yeah, I'm still.
Still laying it down?
Tim Gettys was going to say something.
What are you giving up?
I've had a couple of scares in my life, and they kind of gave me a lot of information about how I would handle this
Pregnancy?
topic. No, not. I've actually never had a pregnancy scare. But
Nick chimed in into my ear with herpes. Was it a herpes scare?
never had a herpes scare.
Okay.
No, never. There's never been any
You
sex
know, there's
scares.
like there's a lot of rubbing that happens. Sometimes
You've
you don't
never
know
had
what it is.
You've never had a pregnancy scare?
No,
Oh,
no,
you ain't lived,
none of
man.
that, none of that.
You never feel more alive driving to that
Oh,
Walmart
hey.
going, God, no! God, no!
You never feel more
tell you right
alive than when she goes, "Oh, never mind."
No, I just got my parents. Like, yeah, I had once in my life where that happened, and it was like for some reason, 15 days late, and she called me, and I was like,
She's 15 days
It
late.
was some ridiculous. It was like an antibiotic thing that she had taken. It like threw off her.
Oh my god,
her
15
system.
days I would be losing my mind.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's over. It's done.
I was like,
It's
It's a very
Amazing.
different time now.
Yeah.
Like birth control is way more of like just a common like that. That is the
Okay,
norm.
I didn't grow up in the fucking like 18th century.
What was it like?
Stuff rags at each other.
Well, I know.
Birth control.
No, I mean,
Your
some-
maiden hath born a child of
But see,
yours.
you joke and say that, but it's like then when
Cut
I
off her
talk to you
legs.
about like any sex things, it's like me, like,
No, that
me
is
and my
true.
friends are
That is
so different. Like
that-
my girlfriends that you know are like
Is he
they
the
blow
millennial
your mind.
contingent?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
okay.
Okay.
No, he does. It is crazy to talk to him about like his experiences with women and specifically like how they view different things like porn, things like that, versus mine growing up. Like me in my 20s, if a girlfriend found out that I was watching porn, she'd be offended, right?
Or you would deny it.
Or I'd emphatically deny
Porn?
it.
Never. I
Even
never
though they
have.
could literally go one folder deep on any folder in my computer and probably find something. Any folder.
One folder
I would,
deep.
like I would.
Going into
Wow.
the midterm fall. What the fuck?
I didn't want them to find the folder that had everything, so you
Tax
hide them in
returns.
multiple places.
Why
you
would
know?
you look in there?
Yeah, exactly. But no, but I definitely think I grew up in the wrong era. I think that I should have been your age.
You would have
because
thrived.
I think I would have thrived.
You definitely would have
Yeah.
thrived. But no, I've had some scares where when I was younger, I went to Santa Cruz, the beach with Kevin one time.
That would scare me too.
And like there, we'd be in the waves and shit. And like I remember one time, like we'd like just be playing and like body surfing and shit. And a really big one came in and like slammed me into the ground, and I got a lot of sand in my ear. And then I remember going back and trying to shower and getting it all out, and it felt like I got it all out. But I always felt like this weird thing where it felt like it kept popping all the time. And I'm like, that's weird. And whenever I'd shower, whenever water would get in, is when I would notice like the water would stay in there.
Perforated eardrum?
And then it wasn't until it's not even that bad. It's not bad. This isn't bad.
Was it a
ended
spider?
up.
Crab.
Oh God, no, John. See,
You better ratchet this
I
story
couldn't
up, dude.
Nah. Went to the doctor
Aliens
and
can do.
it was just wax. I had a lot of wax in my ear.
Yeah.
But that was my thing, is like I just get a lot of wax buildup, and it's been a problem in my life, and I just didn't realize it till that point.
Q-tip?
Stuff gets stuck in there.
But it's like it's way in there, and it's to the point
They have
where
to put the thing in and pull it
Yeah,
out.
suck it out, yeah.
I according to the doctor, I'm not supposed to do it myself. Like it's
Understood.
too deep in there. Where
So you have
it's-
Kevin do it.
It's no. They like it needs to be doctors with the weird ass thing, and I need to go in every like couple years or whatever. And like, but whenever they
Kevin's
do,
putting on
I'm
gloves.
like, oh my God, like I'm missing out on so much that I didn't realize
Gotcha.
Yeah.
because
Because you couldn't hear?
Because I couldn't hear,
Wow.
and it was an ear opening moment. And then it wasn't until later I had a very similar thing with my glasses. Or with my eyes. I knew I couldn't see as well as everybody else. I was 17 or whatever. And I was kind of fine with it because I'm like,
Failed
I
the
don't
driving
care.
class test
It
because
was
you
just
ran
like-
over a kid.
And this is a
Killed
very
a couple people.
This is
Not
a
a big
very
deal.
17-year-old Tim Gettys belief, and I'm like, hey, the girl across the street, she's hot as hell. They're all tens. Everything here, I live in a world of tens. everything's great. He's like, yeah, it's an old man. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. She's hot as hell. That was my life, and
That's
I
a
like
fire
living that.
hydrant.
I like living that life. But then when I got my internship at IGN, that was like, oh shit, this is the first real thing. Like, I don't give a fuck about impressing my college professor, but I need to perform here. So that's when I got glasses. Put them on. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The world is so different than I thought it was. And it was like crazy because I've lived my whole life that way.
Do you
that's
contacts
fucking
now?
nuts.
Yeah, now I have contacts. And it's just like, it's insane how big of a difference it is. Because like even without contacts, these days, like once you use glasses for a while, you can't, like your vision gets even worse because you're so dependent on it and so used to just being able to see this. So if I don't have my contacts in, I wouldn't drive. Like I don't feel safe. Whereas a couple years ago, I would have and been totally fine with it. So I've kind of experienced these things or these moments of like, oh my God, like this thing is back in my life. About a month ago, I woke up in the middle of the night with the worst pain I've ever experienced. And my left ear was just ringing. And it would not stop ringing. And it felt numb. Like the entire ear felt numb. And I would touch it. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And I'd put headphones on and there was a definite difference between the two. And I'm like, shit.
Crab.
Yeah.
And it was driving me crazy because like I got really scared to the point that I didn't even really want to talk to people about it because I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, and this could be like life changing. Because like I started going through all these, like it was so bad that I reached a point that I'm like, what if I go deaf?
Yeah.
And like, what if I can't
Or even
do
worse,
this show?
what if you don't, and what if that's what you have constantly? Like you constantly have that ring.
I mean, well, if the other ear went that way,
So like tinnitus, you're saying?
so I did a lot of Googling, did a lot of figuring it out.
Worst thing
and
to do.
I know, because then you start like convincing yourself that you're dying.
That's when you have AIDS. That's what we call it. That's
exactly.
that's
Everything is
AIDS.
Shit. But I
It's
kept doing it.
probably just an allergic reaction or AIDS.
And but it ended up being, I mean, at least again, I don't know. I didn't go to an actual doctor for this. I was planning on it. I don't like doctors.
Kevin
thing.
snapped out of things.
Looking at all this stuff. I'm like,
got it.
this sounds right.
Took out his leather man.
But then after like really Googling, because again, if you just do a Google search, you have AIDS and you're going to die. But if you keep going deeper, you can get to a point where I'm like, all right, am I really experiencing this? Am I experiencing that? Is this happening? Is that not happening? All that. And I got to a point where I'm like, this thing's telling me that if I go to Walgreens and buy one of these nasal congestion things, that it's a nasal thing.
Sinus cavity. Yeah.
And I was like, this is what it sounds like. Like it's not necessarily the horrible tinnitus. It's not necessarily that I'm going deaf or whatever. And it's definitely not the wax thing. And I did that for about a week and I'm like, it's gone.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Nice
It was
job.
that. But there was fears that I had then where I'm like, holy shit, if I lose hearing, like I wouldn't be able to do the show, obviously. I wouldn't be able to live my life. Wouldn't be able to listen to music. Like all of these things that I'm
Bright
like,
side, never hear Kevin again though.
I will
Yeah,
say this:
but I
never
need to
count
hear
yourself
Kevin.
out, because I think you would be an incredible deaf guy. It would be hilarious to see you still like
try my best.
the really good thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna make fun of deaf people.
I
You're not
can't
making
do
fun
it.
of him. You're more making fun of Tim. What
I'm
do you
making
like on a
fun of Tim.
podcast?
I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to
We'd
do
have to
it,
get
for
new
sure.
mics because the mics hide the lips. You
It's
wouldn't
like,
be able to read lips.
what do you think, Tim? Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
What the topic?
Yeah. I couldn't do it. I definitely couldn't do it.
I think I've come down to I would want to give up smell. And I went back and forth for a long time, but I already have a bad sense of smell, right?
I give up smell.
I think that I wouldn't be sure my taste would be different, but I would still have taste and develop a new taste.
Yes.
Whereas you figure with
You get
smell,
heightened.
I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna smell this great pizza, this great pasta, whatever. Then I'm gonna eat it and not get any enjoyment.
I know
out
the
of it.
games you like. You don't really have that very good taste, to be honest with you.
And farts would never be a problem.
That's
Never.
true. But you would
True.
never be able to smell Lola's farts.
I feel like smell would help
Just
me
push
in a
her away
lot of
from me
ways.
anyway, I don't care.
Hanging out with Kevin so much.
Oh yeah.
Nick,
You wouldn't be able to
If I
taste
can-
or smell, Kevin.
Yes,
I love that Kevin just sat back down after handling whatever business was at the front door, and he just started laughing.
Yeah.
For no
He,
reason. He's
he
like,
heard it. He heard his name. He knew it was funny.
The fart noise. You made
I
a
love
fart
you.
noise.
Probably
I love you.
taste.
Taste is what you give up?
Yeah. Just I mean, if we're talking
taste
about
over
the,
smell?
Yeah, if we're talking about the general.
Oh, I think if you had to smell that pizza and couldn't taste it, that would suck.
See,
gotta
I think
go.
I would.
You said 7:30?
I need to be at the airport by 7 at the latest.
What I usually do is send people out of here. I leave at 2 hours, so I would say 5:30. You could leave here for a 7:30
That's
flight.
what Yeah.
You're 7:30.
We're close enough to the airport. I think you'd be fine at 5:30. But you could leave earlier.
pre-check.
Now, do you like to get there 2-3 hours early, like me?
Like my
I
mom
like to
and
get
like
there
Nick.
hella early.
I am super weird about that. First of
love
all,
getting early.
I'm not someone who likes to be late. I used to be until a mentor of mine showed me that's an absolute sign of disrespect and what it communicates, whether you believe that or not. My wife used to be late too, and she's no longer that way. When it comes to airport, I am the first on the plane. I want to be in like the lounge or in the air, in the terminal an hour before. But the second I get on a plane, I set up shop. Like I am good. That's why honestly, like a 45-minute flight back to LA sucks. I hate it.
Can't get comfortable.
No, you don't have to do anything. You're just gonna sit there and wait. You will sit on the tarmac longer than you will fly.
Do you want to leave then?
We're not trying to hold you hostage.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin,
if
lock
you're
the
a guy who
doors.
wants,
If you leave at 5:30, you'll be there by 6. Like I don't
Really?
think. Yeah, I don't think it would take longer.
We're
on
real
the
close
outskirts
from
of the
you.
city, right here.
You'll dump right on.
But it's up to you. If you like
Do we
being
have
there.
one more topic you wanted to cover?
Traffic.
I mean,
How
there's
we dealing
two,
with
but I mean,
traffic?
like,
What do we have here?
we got New Year's Eve stories and musicals. You want to
Musicals.
do one more and then bounce?
Yeah.
All right, which one do you want to
I
do?
don't know, man. Shake it up. Let's see what
I was
happens.
thinking about calling an audible on my topic. I thought about a different.